Hello, welcome back to another astrology tutorial. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Dasha balance at birth. In the good old days, the Indian astrologer always had the habit of writing down the Dasha balance at birth as one of the most important information because they never did the entire Dasha and Antardasha as we nowadays see in the computerized horoscope printout. If the astrologer knows the balance of Dasha, then by just adding it to your date of birth, he'll be able to find out what is the current Dasha and Antardasha that you're going through. So therefore, this becomes one of the most important information. Some of you may have known about this, but do not know how it's actually done or how it's calculated, because now that we have the computer software to do it, there is no need to learn this, but it's always good that you know at least how it is done, because in case you find some discrepancies, you can always tell your client or your friend that there is something wrong with the Dasha balance. It can't be this. So let's go back to the green board, and instead of the usual chart that I have always on this green board, you now see a rectangular bar in front of you, and there is a start point and an end point. This bar corresponds to the length of your nakshatra. Each nakshatra is always of the same length in degrees and minutes. It is 13 degrees and 20 minutes of the arc, and that multiplied 27 times, because there are 27 nakshatras, you get the 360 degrees of a circle, the entire zodiac. So to do the Dasha balance, you must first know what is your nakshatra, because only then you will know what is actual balance. In my horoscope, the moon is in Leo or Simha Rashi, and it is at 28 degrees and 20 minutes, making me an Uttara Falguni first pada person. Now, how do you use this information to generate the Dasha balance at birth? Uttara Falguni, which is the 12th nakshatra, belongs to the sun, and the sun has 6 years allotted to it in the Dasha period. The sun has 6, the moon has 10. Don't worry about this, because I am going to show you an Excel sheet which contains all this. So now I'll just give you in brief what was happening in the sky when I was born. Now this entire zone, which is from here to here, it is in a particular spot in the zodiac, starting from the 26th degree 40 minutes of Simha Rashi, because I am an Uttara Nakshatra person. So the moon could have been anywhere on this length. It could have been anywhere, but when I was born, the moon was somewhere around here. If the moon was here when I was born, then because this is just the starting point of Uttara Falguni nakshatra belonging to the sun, then the balance of Dasha would have been the entire 6 years. If for all of us the nakshatra, we are born whenever the nakshatra gets started, there is no need to do the Dasha balance, because it will always be the full allotted years for a particular planet. If the moon was here, it would have been 1.5 years over, and the balance of the 6 years would have been there as the Dasha balance. If the moon had reached here, half of it is over, and therefore the Dasha balance would have been 3 years, because 3 out of 6 years is 50%. So if as the moon goes this way towards the end, the balance keeps decreasing. This is the point. Let's do one more example. Let's assume that you are born in Rohini nakshatra. So you'll have to now say that this is actually Rohini nakshatra, this whole rectangular bar, 13 degrees and 20 minutes, and then you had the moon somewhere here. It could have been anywhere here. If it was here, then you have a 10 years balance in the Dasha of the moon. But if it is here, it is already 1/4 is over, and therefore you have 3/4 in front of you. So this means that 2.5 years of 10 years is over, and you have a 7.5 years in front of you. So this is added back to your date of birth, and then you know when the next Mahadasha begins, which is the Mahadasha of Mars. If at the beginning of a nakshatra the moon is exactly at the starting point, you will have a full dasha balance at birth. Halfway through, you will have only 50%. Here 1/4 is over, and here 3/4 is over, and you got just 1/4 of the dasha in balance. Now let's start with the Excel sheet. For those of you who just wanted to know what the dasha balance means, what I have explained is sufficient enough. But for those who are curious to know how do we get exact results, like how many years, how many months, and how many days are left in the Mahadasha that you were born into, for these students I have provided the Excel sheet here. So wherever it is blue, these are the input points. So you have to input the Rashi number, the moon degree, and the moon minute, and then the maximum number allotted to a particular dasha. Before continuing, I would like to tell you that a star is 13 degrees and 20 minutes long, which when converted into base minutes will become 800. That's because 13 into 60 plus 20, you get 800. So here I input the Rashi number as 2, and in this cell I actually subtract it by 1 to know how many Rashis it has already crossed, and that multiplied by 30 gives me 30. And what I have to do next is input the moon degree and the moon minute. So I have entered here 2548, but the rest is all automatic except this one, of course, maximum number of years. The whole thing is automatic. Absolute moon degree 5548 comes because you have already 30 here. The meaning of this 30 is one full sign has crossed because the Rashi number is 2. 1 into 30 is 30, so 30 plus 25 is 5548. This is actually the absolute moon degree in the zodiac. If you know that the zodiac is from 0 to 360, instead of breaking it up into signs and then saying it is Rishabh Rasi, then moon degree, you can always say that the exact longitude of the moon is 55 degrees 48. So once you know this, the rest is quite easy. This 3300 you see here, you can always refer here. The formula is given on the top. F7 into 60. This is F7 into 60 gives you this. Because this is degrees, we are converting it into minutes because it's easier to work with minutes. 55 into 60, you got this. And this one over here is this plus this. So 3348 minutes of the arc the moon has crossed. Multiples of 800 we'll have to remove from this to know how many stars it has actually crossed. So here you find we have used another formula, J7 divided by 800. So this is J7 and this divided by 800 gives you 4.185. What this means is this person was born when 4 stars have been already crossed by the moon. The first star is always Ashwini. So it has crossed Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika and Rohini, and therefore it is Mrigashira Nakshatra. This person is born in Mrigashira Nakshatra, star number 5. And this we do it by taking the integer of this one, this number here, 4.185. So you get 4 rounded up, or integer, the integer of this number, and plus 1 of that gives you 5. So this person is born in the 5th nakshatra. We want to know the balance, which is the most important thing, how much the moon has crossed. So 4.185 minus 4 gives you 0.185. And this is multiplied back by 800 to know how many minutes of the arc the moon has crossed after it crossed the junction point of the star. After Mrigashira started, the moon has moved 148 minutes of the 800 space. So this is the meaning of this 148. Here I say that moon is at 148, whereas the full length is 800 and the balance to cover is 652. So this is the actual value that we are seeking, because once you have this, it's quite easy to know how many years and how many months and how many days are left in the dasha. The next thing we should know is, for star number 5, what is the maximum years allotted in the Mahadasha. So we use this table here, and we want to know where this 5 occurs here, and it is over here. So once you know it is here, 5, 14 or 23, star number 5, 14, 23, doesn't matter which one. It's always ruled by Mars, and Mars rules always for 7 years in its dasha. So this 7 years is entered here. In this cell, you find the product of these two numbers, 365.2425 into 7 years, just to find out how many days are allotted to the dasha of Mars. This is the more interesting point, 2083.7085. This is, as you can see, the formula L14 into H14 by F14. So L14 is this. This is the maximum number of days available, into H14 is the balance to be covered by the moon, the balance minutes to be covered by the moon, into F14, which is the actual length of the star. So what you get here is how many days is left in the dasha of Mars. Once you get the balance in number of days, it's quite easy to convert it into years, months and days. So 2083.7085 divided by 365.2425 gives you 5.705. The meaning of this is 5 years. And you still have to work around with the balance here, 705. For that, I've just integerized this number. Subtract 5 from 5.705 to get 0.705. Now this 257.49, whatever number you have here, is just the number of days left. 0.705 into 365.2425, and you get this 257.49, which again divided by 30.43, you get 8, which is 8 months. You subtract 8 from this number to get a 0.46, which is the balance left of the calculation. And then if you multiply it back by 30.43, because in a month there are 30.43 days, so you get 14 days. So the actual answer is the balance of Mars dasha at birth is 5 years, 8 months and 14 days. So those of you who want this Excel sheet, please send an email to astroekdk@gmail.com, and with the subject matter Dasha Balance Excel sheet, and I will forward this to you. We have come to the end of this video. In case you have any doubts, please type them out in the comment section, and whenever I find the time, I'll answer them for you. And see you soon in my next video.